Hello diecasters! So today I'm going to open up these 6 Kyosho cars, a mix of Italian and some F1 cars obviously. So let's kick it off with this Fiat 500F. So the Fiat 500 originally came out in 1957, but the 500F came out in 1965 and ran up until 1969. The whole 500 range, the classic ones, ran up until 1975. And around 4 million of these classic 500s were made in many different variations. But this one has an inline 2-cylinder of around 500 cc's, which is the explanation of its name originally. And it makes around 18 whopping horsepower. So it's quite minuscule. You know, ride-on lawnmowers make more power these days. But this is believed to be one of the first city cars. You know, it's minuscule in its size, but it's meant to be for those tiny roads in Italy and Europe. So let's take it off the stand and take a look and see what's going on with this diecast, the actual model quality. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And I'm going to leave the angle the way it is. Well, off the bat, I'm noticing the rear light here. It is plastic, but it's not set. Doesn't look like it's set in very well. So, alright, let's take a look at this side. No, I think that might be by design. Very interesting. Okay, well, we got these really smooth wheels. Very shiny chrome, of course. Even the paint's really nice. Look at, you can see the reflection of my LEDs up above. In this case, not. Yeah, there's a little paint rash there. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to bubble, but I'm not sure when this series of Kyoshos came out, this Fiat collection, but I assume it's probably pretty old. Look at this, it's got some nice printing of the Fiat badge there. To the naked eye, can't make it out. I'm not sure if the camera's going to show that on YouTube, if it actually says Fiat or not. We'll find out later. Nice plastic headlights, and look at this tiny chrome surround. I mean, to the naked eye, again, it's really small. I mean, compare this to my fingers, just to give you an idea. Look, they painted this turn signal orange, which is great. Ooh, seems to be a little bit of silver paint here, though. That was accidental. It's probably under the clear coat also. It was probably done when they were hitting the door handle. But this window trim, the front one's silver and the back one's black. I'm not sure if that happens on the real car or not. Huh. Okay, so going around the back, a little silver here. I'm not sure what that would be on the real car. A little silver accent. This, I assume, opens the engine cover and probably has a light for the license plate there. There is printing right there as well. I can't make it out with the naked eye, but it says something 500. I don't know if my camera can focus there. I can't even see it on my camera screen because my screen's too small. So I apologize there, but we got the black trim around this rear window, and then we got some sort of a rollback fabric sunroof, I guess. So it's actually done really well. The black isn't 100% perfect, but it's good enough. If you're curious about the bottom there. Okay. I do like these separate bumper pieces. They could have easily molded those in, or not even have bumpers. But this is a nice chromed plastic bumper. Looks like there's even dots for the rivets to hold it onto the struts. So very nice car. A really iconic classic vehicle. I'm beginning to really like these miniature cars, K cars and small city vehicles. So I guess we'll try to let that spin in the background. It might be a little blurry, but alright, so this next car is an Alfa Romeo 75, and this first came out in 1985 and ran up until 1992, and around 400,000 of these cars were made. It's called a 75 because it's celebrating the 75th anniversary of Alfa Romeo, and it was known to have good weight distribution, so it was used a lot in racing for touring racing. And it's supposed to be a various choice of engines, either inline 4 cylinders, 1.6 liters, up to a 3-liter V6 up here in the front, and it's rear-wheel drive. But they put the transmission in the clutch in the back, and that's what allows it to have better weight distribution. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And maybe that's why they sold so many, because it probably handled very well. Okay, this is, I believe, the European version, because the US version, it was called the Milano, but the bumper regulations in America had like ribbing here, the little folds, and this doesn't have it, so I think this is probably a European spec model. Let's see here, just out of curiosity, there are some color choices here, and what's interesting about this one is the red one has this extra printing on the side, right there on the quarter panel, whereas the silver and the yellow one has it as well. No, they all have it. I guess it's just hard to see on the silver one. So it's readily apparent against the red. Okay, the wheels are okay. They do seem a little dull. Like the lug nuts seem a little bit smoothed over a little too much. But you can see the black of the little spoke holes. I don't think that's paint. I do believe that is actual air going through the wheels. So that's what I love about Kyosho. You know, other brands it would just be solid. Aoshima would be solid. TLV would probably be just solid plastic. So very nice Kyosho. We got some black painted door handles, and then this black molding wraps around the whole car, it looks like. Well, it wraps from this front around the wing and then the other side, so that's a pretty cool design detail. You know, it also gives it a sense of like speed because it's like an angled down, like a wedge graphic on the car. So it looks pretty fast, even though it's a four-door car, four-door sedan. This is orange right here. It might be hard to see on a red car, but this is an orange paint application. Okay. Let's take a look at the back. Yep, as usual, really good Alfa Romeo badge printed on here by Kyosho. There's a 75. And this says TSpark. I didn't mention this, but in 1987 when they released a twin spark engine, so each cylinder had 2 spark plugs in it. I'm not sure if it really made a difference in performance or efficiency, but it obviously convinced a lot of people to buy this car, seeing how they sold almost 400,000 of them. These taillights are kind of weird though, I think, design-wise. I mean, for the model, they're executed pretty well. They are plastic, and you can see the silver backup, red, and then this orange stripe runs across the whole top, which to me seems a bit odd. Oh well. And then the placement of this exhaust tip also seems odd. It's not in the center, but it's not off to the side enough. I'm not sure what they were thinking when they designed that. Oh, there's a spare wheel. Spare wheel, and perhaps the gas tank is right there. So, because here is the transmission, you can see. So I guess it does make sense, engineering-wise. You know, you have a transmission where the spare wheel or fuel tank would usually be there. So they had to just jam the exhaust pipe where they could. Alright, so it actually does make sense to me. I don't know, what do you guys think? Alright, so let's take a look around this side. There's a fuel filler cap there in the back, and then the rest looks like the other side. And pleasantly, looking at the top, I don't see any paint problems. No paint rash, no scratches, no contaminants. So beautiful. Again, I'm not sure when this is from the Mini Car Collection 4, according to this card here. Mini Collection 4, whenever that came out, I'm not sure, but I lucked out. This looks pretty great. So let's carry on. The next Alfa is the 4C, which is the latest one in this group. The 4C came out in 2013. I believe it was the first car for America's return with Alfa. Here's this card here. So this is Collection 4 also, and then we had the red, white, and silver variations. And for me, I got the white. Sorry, must be colorblind today. Let me get this off the stand here. Alright, let's take a closer look. So I was reading up on this car, and it seems like it has a carbon fiber tub and a lot of use of aluminum, like a subframe in the rear. But then I also read it only has a 1.8 liter engine here in the back. It's a mid-engine. So it seems a really strange combination to have a carbon fiber body, well, frame, but only a 1.8 liter engine. So then I looked up the price of this thing, and it's around $70,000. So it's pretty expensive. I'm sure you can get a much faster car for $70,000. Well, I know you can, but you guys can compare yourselves. But this carbon fiber tub allows it to weigh 900 kilograms, so it's pretty light, although it's not particularly fast by sports car standards today, supercar standards at least. Well, anyways, let's look at the model now. So I'm not sure if that side mirror makes sense. Is it angled too high? Maybe that's normal. Let's take a quick look at the other side. Seems to be right. They're both angled. Yeah, okay, I guess that's probably the way it is on the real car. So this black intake here is just painted on. Or is it? Yeah, it's just a paint application there. Oh well, that's okay. Door handle's nicely done. Pretty crisp panel lines for a white car. Usually Kyosho really lays on the paint super thick and it hides a lot of the panel lines, but this one worked out well. Or they made the panel gaps a lot bigger on this die-cast. The wheels look really nice, although the lug nuts are just depressions. But again, I like the dimensionality of their wheels. Very nice. Little reflector paint there. The logo, very nice as usual. Okay, there's a texture there in the grills. And that's plastic, so I'm guessing it might be part of this belly pan or the interior piece. Look at these headlights. It's not covered with plastic. It reminds me of TVR. You got all these silver dots painted in there. Wow, that must have been hard to do. I mean, they look good. These are minuscule dots. Again, look at my fingertip and how small that dot is. So that's really nice. That's well done. How they did that so well, I don't know. This does seem to be a metallic white now that I'm looking at it with my naked eye. It's not a flat white. There's some sparkle in there. So unfortunately with all Kyoshos you have a black interior, so everything kind of vanishes. It's hard to see, especially with such a reflective windshield, but it is there. There's a lot of detail going on in there, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it here. And then we have the black windshield wiper molded in, painted. This window molding is all painted black or printed on. Same with the rear glass, printed on black. Really nice detail. This vent here in the rear is just painted black. Okay. And then let's look at the rear. Really nice big taillights. Reminds me of a Ferrari. Great logo. Nice third brake light there. License plate area. And then nice silver tips on the black plastic exhaust tips here. And then we have what looks like a reflector red, a backup light maybe, silver and red. And then the textures. Alright, so that looks good. If anyone's curious about the bottom, not so much. Diffuser, 2 fins, screwed together. Okay. So again, I think I lucked out a bit. There's a silver dot there. Must be a reflector or blinker. But yeah, I'm looking at this now with the naked eye, and no problems again. So fantastic. Okay, alright. From certain angles it's kind of an ugly car, but then from other angles I think it really looks nice. This looks like a Lotus right there. If you block off the wheels, looks like an Elise or an Exige. Anyways, let us carry on. Okay, so let's shift gears, or actually 7 gears, and start talking about some F1 cars. So the first one is a McLaren MP4-12. Here's some variations. I guess it's just the racing number. Okay. So the MP4-12 is from the 1997 Formula 1 year. And this one was driven by Mika Hakkinen, a budding race car driver at the time. He came in 6th in the World Championships that year. And McLaren came in 4th. So they weren't particularly successful in this year. And they were riddled with a bunch of engine problems, I guess. One interesting thing about this car, it had 2 brake pedals. So they could actually, the brake pedals only control the rear tires. But with 2 of them, they could almost steer with the rear tires. And so Ferrari made a a hassle and it got banned later on, which makes sense. I mean, if you could steer with the rear tires like an airplane or a boat, I'm sure that must be a performance advantage. All these F1 cars have 3-liter V10s, and then this year is making around 750 horsepower. So with most Kyosho racing cars I've seen, F1 cars, they have the steel axle showing through like a Hot Wheels, which is a shame. I wish they could figure out a way to hide that. Beyond that though, I can see that the details are really nice. I mean, look at the printing here. The printing's nice. The wheels have this Goodyear Eagle printing, looks nice. The curvature of the tires looks pretty good. It's not flat-sided, which is a problem on some other Kyoshos. We've got all these sponsors printed on there, and they're not decals, they're actually printed on there, so I don't think they're going to scratch off easily. Not that I really play with my cars, but let's see, interior-wise, well, in this case, it's not all black. You can see the seatbelt printing. It says Boss, and then you can see a little cluster of chaos there in the middle where the 5 seatbelts would go into a buckle. And then the steering wheel, I'm not sure if it'll show up on the camera, but it is that, like, it looks upside down, but it's kind of like a rectangular steering wheel. And it looks like they may have printed stuff on that steering wheel. Hard to say, it's so small I can't tell with the naked eye. Hopefully it'll show up in the on the YouTube video. So okay, so yeah, sponsorship on the top here, mobile, the Mercedes. These are powered by Mercedes engines, by the way, McLaren's. And then let's look at the back. It's okay. Axle's not the hottest, but let's see, take a look at the diffuser. These front winglets. Okay, and then look at this here in the rear. So you can see a little bit of the white of the Alfa behind it, so there is air passing through there. So that's pretty nice, great detail. It could have easily been blocked off. But you do see the solid, steel axle running through, but I guess you'd also see something similar on an F1 car, so I guess that's okay. Okay, well, it looks pretty good. I'm very happy again. I don't know if this whole thing is made of plastic because it's very light. I'm not sure. I don't feel any coldness to the body. This might be in an all plastic model, and that might be why it has such great detail. Okay, we'll see about the next one. So the next one is the MP415. And let's see. Again, there's 2 choices. Which drivers, number 1 and 2. So number 2, which is I have a number 1. And this is Mika Hakkinen again. And this is the year 2000 Formula 1 Championship. And Mika Hakkinen in 2000 came in 2nd place. And also McLaren came in 2nd place for the manufacturer's title. They're only beaten by Schumacher and Ferrari. Okay. So during the season, these guys, McLaren won 7 of the GP races. And now these cars are making around 800 horsepower. Okay. So different tires now. We got Potenza Bridgestones. So no longer Goodyears. Many same sponsorships. Loctite's still there. Computer Associates is still there. Mobile's still there. I'll pick up the other car in a second to really compare them. This time, the tires are actually ribbed, which is pretty accurate to those cars of that era. Okay. Got this, still don't know what that is. I gotta look that up, that thing up there. I don't know if that's GPS or some sort of radio or telemetry system. Okay, so again, there's air passing through there because you can see my finger or a little bit of the car spinning behind it. So that's great detail. We've got the West printing there, Bridgestone. Let's look at the bottom diffuser pan. Actually fairly similar. This is only 3 years apart from the first model. Okay, so yeah, again, really nice, nicely executed. Maybe right there. Yeah, paint bubbling a little bit there, but it's pretty small. Okay, so let's see, on the left side we have the old 97, on the right side we have the year 2000. So let me back up here. So I guess you can pause it if you want, just to see the top variations. And then the top one will be the earlier one, and the bottom one will be the more modern one. So if you want to pause it there again, you can kind of see. This is hard to do. Okay, let's move on. So the last car, now we're talking the year 2009. It's a Red Bull Racing RB5 driven by Sebastian Vettel. And in 2009, Sebastian Vettel came in second as a driver's championship, and Red Bull Racing came in second as well for the manufacturer's championship. And I'm trying to take this tape off here. This is the card that came with it. Doesn't seem to be any other variations. It's just this one. Okay. So as that card and this base plate show, this car won the 2009 Japanese Grand Prix. Alright, so let me take it off the stand. Red Bull Racing started in 2005. It was actually bought out from the ex-Jaguar team. And as you know, Red Bull is a really successful energy drink. They do all sorts of crazy events. But they've been sponsoring F1 for a while. They have a good run. So clearly a lot of differences now between 2005 and 2009. In particular, look at these wheels. You have these covers up the front. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to stay static like that on the real car, but for this model it spins around. Sadly, the steel axles are showing through again. But look at that rear wheel. It looks like a turbine. Kind of like sucking in or exhausting out brake dust and whatever. Okay, so let's look at the side here. Still Potenza Bridgestones. And then a really nice color scheme going on. And more importantly, it's really nicely done by Kyosho. I mean, these are some pretty curvaceous body panels here, and yet they've managed to print onto them. You know, this Red Bull logo is going on this curve. That's kind of pixelated. Seems a bit odd that would be such a low resolution compared to the crispness of that branding there. Weird. Okay, so look at the top. We got these weird forward winglets there. Okay, so Red Bull printed pretty nice on the front wing. Okay. The rear, you have this central wing now, similar to Romeos prototype cars. And the rear wing itself is very narrow. I'll pick up the other F1 car in a second. So, very tall, narrow wing now. Okay, so look at the bottom. Definitely different. We don't have those forward winglets anymore. And there seem to be winglets, vertical winglets, or strakes on the bottom of the front wings, right? That's interesting. Okay. Let's take a look at this side. I'm sure it's identical to the other. But any printing problems? No. Initial impressions, it looks pretty nice. This one's powered by Renault engine here, or Renault. Okay, so top view. Alright, interesting. So really flat, wide diffuser pan, but the body itself, it's tapering like a teardrop. Right, so it's must be more aerodynamic. So let's take a look here, or compare to a 2000 to 2009. So that's a pretty big gap in technology, especially in F1. How can I do this? So the first thing I notice is the front. You see the front of the nose is highly suspended up, and the legs of the driver are probably the same height as their chest, whereas here the nose is a bit lower still, so their legs are still a little bit lower. So in these 2009 and onward cars, these drivers are almost laying down. It's almost like they're taking a nap on a lazy boy at 200 miles per hour. Whereas these guys, the legs are a little more horizontal. Still probably up quite a bit. But that's one of the evolutions of F1 cars, driver positioning. You also notice the wheelbase is quite a bit longer on the newer car. Looking at those tires touching each other, it's quite longer on the Red Bull one. The rear wing. So you look at the width difference. Low and wide, tall and narrow. So it's, I think, basically done to actually probably slow these cars down. The more modern cars might have to be slowed down because the tire technology might not be able to keep up. Okay. So that's quite interesting to see the evolution of F1 cars. I suppose when I get enough of these things, I'll do like a different video on the evolution of F1 through Kyosho. Very well. So hopefully you learned something today. I know I learned quite a bit researching this stuff. It's always fun for me. And I guess we'll see you around. Take care.